Hello and welcome to Gullah Business of Charleston. I am the president, Nicole Pringle.
And hello, my name is Tiffany Savage. I'm the Vice President of Gala Business of Charleston. And welcome to our feature today with Catch B Travels.
So today we have Brittany Hayward here, and we're super excited to have her. She's an independent travel advisor, and she has a lot of special promotions going on. So I know all of us, we love to travel and go on those cruises and different trips, So this is the person you want to reach out to and talk to. So we
Okay.
have her here today. Brittany, if you could tell us about yourself and your business.
Yeah, thanks you for having me, first of all. I appreciate the invite to talk about Catch B Travels. I'm born and raised in the Charleston area. And so as a kid, I remember going to Myrtle Beach quite often with my parents and my sister. And so that I think kind of sparked the love of travel in my life. So we would take little road trips to Myrtle Beach or Savannah, somewhere in Florida. I did that as a kid. Then in college, I took my first plane ride and I was hooked. I was afraid of plane travel before, but I had to go to a conference, so I had to fly. And I was like, this is super easy. We got here so quickly. I'm hooked. So from there, I started traveling a lot more. I started taking flights. I started, staying in hotels. I had my own money at that point, so I could choose where I wanted to stay. And then I started getting hip to the travel game and understanding that, okay, if I fly this airline all the time and I get these points, I can fly for free and use these points. Or if I stay at this hotel all the time, I'm getting these hotel nights that I can redeem. So I started travel hacking and just traveling even more then because I'm traveling with perks and status now. So my friends and family knew how much I love to travel. And so then I started planning their trips. And so anytime there was a girls' trip that came up or someone in my family needed to go somewhere, even my church members, they needed to go somewhere. They were like, Brittany, can you help me, plan this? You're my little personal travel agent. And I was not a travel agent at the time, just someone who loved to travel and, didn't mind looking up a flight or researching what was going on in travel. So fast forward to May of this year, I was scrolling on Instagram and I had already had an Instagram page called Catch B Travels because I documented my own travels on there. And I saw an ad for Fora Travel, which is my current travel agency. I applied, and the rest is history. I have been a travel advisor since then, booking trips. Right now, I have four couples traveling this weekend. So this has been a busy holiday weekend for me, celebrating anniversaries, a honeymoon, birthday. And I love that. I love people being able to experience new places, new things. I think travel, excuse me, it just unlocks the world for you once you're open to going to new places and experiencing new cultures.
I know when COVID first hit, there was a sharp decline on the amount of people that were traveling. And I know I just recently read an article by Forbes saying that most people predicted, I would say 47% predicted that they would travel more by the end of this year. What are some pros and cons of someone booking a travel, online, doing it themselves versus pretty much doing it with an advisor?
Yeah. Travel has definitely exploded again after the pandemic. And I think one reason why you would want to, a couple reasons I have, but the first of why you would want to work with a travel advisor versus doing it yourself is that one, travel has gotten a little bit more complicated. So we think about like during the pandemic, right after the pandemic, we had so many different travel rules. So you had to wear a mask here, you had to wear a mask here, you had to have a COVID test or be vaccinated before you could travel this place, that place. Luckily, a lot of that has lightened up as the pandemic has changed, but think about how those rules are in place and how should we have another surge or something like that, especially as we get into like this winter season where people normally get sick again. Should those rates rise up again, these countries and these states that have those policies, they could probably easily put that back in place. And so you want to work with a travel advisor because they'll be able to keep track of all that for you and let you know what the requirements are. And not even with COVID, if you're traveling to another country and they have a requirement before you enter the country, those are all things that a travel advisor will help you out with and keep you informed about so that you are not planning this trip and not understanding, all the requirements that are needed for you. The thing is that when you're working with a travel advisor, you are getting one-on-one personalized service. So with my clients, I am, talking to them, figuring out why they're traveling. So for example, I mentioned the 4 couples that are traveling this weekend. They're all celebrating special occasions. And so you're booking that yourself. You might get something from the hotel, some kind of recognition. But when you're working with a travel advisor, I'm going behind the scenes and connecting with the hotels, letting them know, okay, hey, this person is celebrating an anniversary. Like right before this call, actually, my clients in Chicago got champagne and chocolate covered strawberries delivered to their room for their anniversary. So that's the kind of service that you don't really get when you're working on your own, because I don't know, some people might feel like, am I begging this hotel to give me this perks if I'm asking for it myself? I know sometimes I feel that way, like, am I doing too much here? But when I'm doing it for a client as the advisor, the hotels are more apt to give those kinds of special treats and perks. And then lastly, I think you should work with a travel advisor for peace of mind. One thing that I see a lot with flights lately, you go on Google Flights or whatever you do to search for flights, and you plug in your dates and where you want to go, and this price comes up and it looks really good. And some people might just go ahead and book that. But 9 times out of 10 lately, that is the basic economy rate. And so some airlines, basic economy, you don't even get to carry on a bag, or it's got to be like a super small personal bag, like a book bag. And I mean, you can't really travel with that if you're going for a week, or you've got a really tight layover, things like that. The average person or someone who doesn't travel a lot, they may not pay attention to. They're just, booking, okay, this looks like a good price, I'm gonna book it. As a travel advisor, I'm going to look at those options for you, let you know, like, hey, this might not work for you. You've got a 30-minute layover in New York, one of the New York airports, which they're pretty big, or Miami or Atlanta, huge. You don't want a 35-minute layover in Atlanta, because if your flight's delayed, you might not make the next one. So a travel advisor is going to give you that peace of mind to make sure that the decisions that you're making about your travel make sense for what you're trying to do.
What are some red flags that you would notice if someone was booking on their own trip online? What are some tips and some things that they should know, that they shouldn't avoid when using someone they've never used before as a travel advisor, or even booking a trip online?
Well, I think like any other service provider, like if you were going to a hairstylist for the first time or a new nail salon, you want to check out what they have going on. And I think we live in an age where everything is on social media. If your business isn't on social media, that's almost a red flag to me now. So check out those social media pages, seeing, what kind of content is being put out there. Are they posting about travel often? Are they posting about their clients? Does it look like they have deals, or not even deals, but what can they offer you as a client? And that should be evident from what you're seeing on their social media. I think another red flag is if that advisor or that travel agency doesn't have a website that you can go to. Everything is online these days. You should be able to go to a website like www.catchbtravels.com and see what that advisor does, what they can offer you, what prices are, if they, charge for their services, all of that. Same thing about your website, a credible email address that you can contact that person on, and being able to read reviews. It sounds kind of daunting to, do that pre-research on your travel agent, but just think about the amount of money that you would spend on a vacation. I mean, just like everything else in this world, vacations are going up, the prices are increasing. And so if you're spending your money, I think you would want to know who you're spending your money with. And so I think just taking a look at their online presence is a big way to, pick out those red flags and pick out the advisors that may not work for you. Also, look at what they're specializing in. And not to say that someone with a specialty is good or bad, but if you are planning a trip for children, for example, and you want someone who plans trips for children, who knows what you would be looking for. If you're planning a Disney trip, there are lots of advisors who plan specifically for Disney. So keeping in mind what they're offering and what if it makes sense for you. And then also, I think having an understanding about what they can offer. For me, for example, my agency works with a lot of I would call them luxury brands. So we work with Four Seasons, we work with Virtuoso. And so not to say that I cannot book your Courtyards by Marriott and all of that, but because I can book your luxury properties as well for those times when you do want to have an elevated experience and, go to a 5-star resort, you can count on the fact that I can book you there, and I can also work behind the scenes and get you those extra perks that I was talking about, like free breakfast and room upgrades, early check-ins, hotel credits, and things like that.
Thank you. And this ran into the other question I was gonna ask about tips, but you already showed, like, you already spoke on different tips that you can provide anyone that's, considering to travel in this upcoming year. So another thing, what I would like to touch on, promotions and incentives that you're doing right now at this time. Before we briefly, spoke about before we came on about Travel Tuesdays, if you could share information about that, because that was something brand new to me.
Yes.
So you can tell it if you.
We commercialize everything that we can in this country. So you got your Black Friday, you have Small Business Saturday, you've got Cyber Monday, and new to the game. And I think there's another one that I can't remember. But now you have Travel Tuesday. And so a lot of the hotel brands and cruise lines, they have been doing sales since pre-Black Friday, and they'll probably come to a head on this coming Tuesday, which is what's called Travel Tuesday. So from hotels to cruises to even some airlines, they're offering deals, discounts, promotions that you can book. I know that this interview will likely post after this time has passed. However, this is still a really good time of year to consider your vacations for next year, for a couple of reasons. One, you'll be able to pick what you want to pick. When you're booking a trip at the last minute, which definitely is possible, but you might not have the room options you want, or the resort you want may be booked up, the cruise you want may be booked up. So if you are planning for this year, that's perfect, because you should have the option to choose wherever you want to go and wherever you want to stay. Those options are still open. You can pick what you want. Then while you're booking now, let's say in a couple of months, the prices change and maybe they come down. For flights, at least, a lot of the airlines, especially if you're not booking like one of those basic economy rates that I talked about, if your flight comes down, most of the times you can get a flight credit and you can use that towards another flight, which that's always great, another trip, right? Hotels, if the prices change, you can normally go in there and update your reservation, get that new price, so you're not paying as much when you get to the hotel. So because you are booking now at the end of 2023 for something next year, you have all that time to, see how things change, and if they change in your favor, take advantage of it. Beyond Travel Tuesday, and Black Friday and all of that, what I am personally working on, I have an adult spring break cruise next year sailing on Virgin Voyages. If you have not heard about Virgin Voyages, it's all over TikTok, it's all over social media, and it lives up to the hype, okay? It is an adults only cruise line. They started rolling out, I believe, in 2021. So the ships are pretty much brand new. I just sailed last month in October. Very cool ship, very nice, spacious rooms. They've got a little tablet that you can use. In fact, one of the options on the tablet is like, get it on. So you press the button, it like dims the lights, closes the curtain, it plays like little sexy music and all of that. So it's very much a catered to adults. It's a fun cruise line, no children, lots of fun. So we are sailing on Virgin Voyages next May, May 1 through 5, leaving from Miami, and we are stopping in Key West in Bimini, Bahamas. So lots of fun. Definitely reach out if you are interested in going on this cruise with us. When you're booking with me and coming on my group cruise, you're going to get some extra onboard credits. You're going to have access to all the fun things that I have planned on the ship. You don't even have to hang out with us the whole time. You come on, get the perks, and do what you want to do. That's cool. Beyond that group trip, I'm also planning a couple other group trips for 2024 and already for 2025. So I haven't announced those details yet, but follow me on social media so you can be first to know, once I drop those details. But I think it's important for people to travel, and sometimes people don't have other people to travel with. And that, I personally think that shouldn't stop you. Like, solo travel is definitely in, but if you want to travel with a group, like, I want to provide a safe space for people to travel, have a good time, and have those new experiences. So I will be coming out with some group trips pretty soon.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wish I had time because I definitely would go on. I'm telling you, I would do that Virgin Voyager for real. I would do that one. That sounds like a lot of fun. I saw the videos on TikTok. Oh man, that looks like it's giving high class elegance on a cruise ship and grown and sexy. That's what it's giving.
And you know what? One thing that I like about it, because I've been on cruises and I've been to a lot of all-inclusives, it feels like almost like an all-inclusive on sea. It doesn't feel like a cruise ship. And for one of the reasons is the dining. Like, the food was amazing. And it wasn't like you had to go to the same dining hall every night and sit with the same people every night, like the people that you don't know. All the restaurants, they're restaurants on Virgin Voyages. All the restaurants, you make a reservation as if you were on land. You go for your reservation. Each restaurant has its own style, its own menu and theme. So it was really fun. And I think, anyone who likes an upscale kind of experience, likes to be with adults and have fun, they would have a good time on Virgin Voyages. So we got to get you two on a sailing, even if it's
definitely. We need a vacation desperately. We need one.
Yeah.
So is it too late for anybody to book for the Virgin Voyager?
No, that's a good question. Thanks for asking that. So it's not too late. So this cruise is next May. With Virgin Voyages and with a lot of cruise lines, they make you pay in full at a certain point. So for this particular sailing, the pay in full date is January 2nd of next year, 2024. So that means if you're booking now, it's end of November, you'd have to pay that full price by January 2nd. If that is an issue, because I know some people like to space out their payments a little bit more, there is uplift financing available for qualified applicants, or you could just pay it in full. But Virgin does require that payment at that time for that sailing. If that's going to be too soon and you want to experience Virgin, no problem. I can still book you on any other sailing for next year. We can definitely talk about that one-on-one if anyone wants to reach out or send me an email. I do have a couple of future voyage passes too. I'll throw that out there. If you book your sailing and you are booking a balcony cabin or above, I can get you $600 in onboard credits. So let me know.
Oh, that is great. Somebody better take that offer.
Somebody's got to hop on that because they are like burning a hole in my pocket before I book it for myself.
That is great. That is really, really good. And I know we have a lot of people that travel now. That's a big thing. Everybody's like, I've been here, I've been there, or I'm going here and I'm going there. So get on that. I like that. So how can our viewers contact you and go on this lovely trips that you have planned?
So I try to make it pretty easy. You see on my shirt, Catch B Travels. So that's my website, www.catchbtravels.com. If you need to reach me on any of, not any of my social medias, because I'm not a TikTok girly yet, but I'm primarily on Instagram and Facebook at Catch B Travels. And then if you need to send me an email, it's info at catchbtravels.com.
And we'll also make sure to share her information also too on Gullah Business of Charleston on our Instagram page too as well. So if you want to see some of her fabulous reels, posts, please tune in to Catch Me Travels. We also share them too as well because that's how we found out about the Virgin Voyage. It
Yeah,
was like,
y'all posted me early
and
on. I
about
appreciate the
that.
love.
Yeah,
Yes,
well, as soon as we see something, we like, yeah, we're gonna
mhm,
share this.
exactly. Exactly. And so we will always like to end our features with always asking some of the wonderful people, well, all the wonderful people that come on with us, what are 3 words that best describe what they're doing with their business? And just in a nutshell, 3 words. And if you can give us those 3 words and a brief explanation why you chose those 3 to
Yeah.
describe what you're doing with your travel experiences and with your profession.
Yeah. Okay. So my 3 words would be convenience, personalized, and elevated. So convenience, that is one of my ultimate goals as a travel advisor. Like I want you to be able to come to me and say, hey, I want to go here. This is what I want to spend. This is when I want to go. And I'd be able to take that and run and find the perfect trip for you. And once I do it once and you have a great time, I want you to be able to come back and we repeat that process. And I get to not take you, but, send you all over the world and you come back and give me fun things to look for. Personalized, I think that anyone can go online, go to a website, make a reservation. And I think any travel advisor could also do the same thing. I like to add those personal touches, get to know why you're traveling. And I touched on it before with my couples traveling this weekend and how they're celebrating those milestones like anniversaries and honeymoon, which was so exciting to me because I don't know if I can say I'm a newlywed anymore, but I got married in January of this year. So having those experiences and being a recent bride and knowing how excited I was for my honeymoon, like being able to add those personal touches and making sure that your trip is not only like a great trip, like you're staying at a good resort, your flight got there safely, your bags arrived, but that you're being recognized for what you're celebrating. That personal touch is really important to me. And then my last word was elevated. Yeah. So with the personalization, adding that elevated touch when I'm able to get you that upgrade at that hotel at one of my partner hotels, or you have the option to get that free breakfast where you're not spending your own money. You're going to eat breakfast anyway, but now you can do it for free. You have early check-in and late checkout, things like that to elevate an already fun and exciting travel experience to the point where like, oh, this was amazing. And I want to stay at this property again, or I want to visit another property like that so I can get these same kind of perks. I think that travel can be as basic or as elevated as you want it to be. And I tend to lean on the elevated side, and I want my clients to be able to experience that as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Brittany, for just sharing all this great advice, these tips. You just don't even know. This was useful for not only, I know, to our followers, but I know it is for me too. So next time I plan a trip, I know the things to look out for. And I would already say you already have my bet. I'm going with you as a trip advisor.
Well, I'm happy to help.
It's like, I don't want to be doing all that looking up. No, I'm going to leave it to the experts. I feel like I'm in safe hands. But
Right.
thank you again. And for anybody that's looking to do a trip, either if it's a couple trip, anniversary, a honeymoon, or a family plan trip, please hit up Miss Brittany Haywood at Catch Me Travels. Thank you again for taking the time to be with us this evening, and we hope you wish you well. And just look forward. I'm probably gonna be DMing you soon.
Yeah, because I need a trip. I gotta see what the schedule looks like. But once I figure that out, yes. And I just want to thank you again for even trusting us to do this interview. Everybody's been so like awesome, and just wanted to say thank you so much.